Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a 3-month review on the Aquatop 2540 hang on the back filter. I've been operating this filter for about 3 months on my African cichlid tank that I am now using for breeding. Also guys, it's been running 3 months as I said, and I did an unboxing video on that filter where I broke down all of the specifications and what I thought about it as in first impressions. And if you guys haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in the description below. Go check that out. But today I'm going to be going just over what I like about the filter, if I think it stacks up against the other hang on the back filter that I have on my aquarium, and if I think the Aquatop hang on the back filter is worth your money. Stay tuned. Alright guys, right now we are looking at the top of my 40-gallon breeder tank that I use for breeding African cichlids. And on the right side of the tank, that is the Aquatop 2540 hang on the back filter. And on the left is actually the Aqueon Quiet Flow. I can't remember what size exactly that it is, but it's the one that's rated for about a 40-gallon aquarium as well. Now, I'm going to be showing you guys the difference in the flow between the two, minus like a couple things like media or pre-filter sponges. And that's going to be the filter I'm going to be baselining the Aquatop Forza 25 hang on the back filter to. Alright, the Aqueon filter that I have here has a pre-filter sponge that has been cleaned, and it's running sponges in the top of the tank as long with some cotton media. And that is the flow I am getting out on it. Now, the Forza 2540 filter has no pre-filter sponge and is also running the polyfill and the cartridge that came with it along with a tiny sponge. Usually I also run a bigger piece of sponge in this filter, but I'm going to be moving it to a smaller tank, and I'll let you know why later. Now, this filter is rated for 120 gallons per hour, and that is the max flow. But on top of it has this little dial indicator right here. And this is to actually turn down the flow. As you can tell right there, the flow actually turned down quite a bit. And as I turn the knob, it increases. I do like how this filter does have a flow control. Now when you get over to the Aqueon equivalent, there is no flow control. So you can adjust the flow, and the only way you could possibly restrict the flow is by putting a pre-filter sponge and putting a lot of media in there. Now, when you compare the two on their, basically like the basket on it, where you put the media, obviously the Aqueon has a bigger area, a much bigger surface for beneficial bacteria and all your media, as the Aquatop 2540 hang on the back filter has a much smaller area. One of my biggest complaints on the Aquatop 2540 hang on the back filter is the lid. It doesn't fit tightly, and it's sometimes loose, and sometimes when you take it off, it doesn't like to go back in place just as it should. But other than that, the filter is actually pretty good. I've been using it for 3 months, and I really haven't had any issues out of the filter. Now there is one big difference between the Aqueon and the Aquatop Forza 2540 hang on the back filter, is where their motors and their propeller that runs the water through the filter is located. In the Aqueon, it's actually inside the tank to where it's always submerged underwater, whereas the Aquatop has it mounted in the basket outside of the tank. Now, the problem with having the motor outside in the basket is if the power will go off and come back on, it really doesn't want to restart itself. You have to go in here, take a little cup of water, and dump into the basket until that motor is submerged in water and the tube is enough so it can actually create suction. Whereas the Aqueon version is in the tank and it instantly starts up right away because it's already submerged in water. Now, usually when a pump is submerged in the water, it's really quiet. And usually that the motor being out in the basket causes it to be noisy because it's not being insulated by that water. But I found that the Aquatop Forza 2540 hang on back filter is actually really quiet, and I really don't even hear it running, even though it's mounted on the outside. So really the only downside that I can see to it is actually the lid. Alright, this is the 40-gallon breeder tank that I'm running, and it's a little cloudy because I did a water change on it yesterday, and I do believe I knocked out some of the detritus that has been building up underneath the rocks. And this is the tank that I have the Aqueon Quiet Flow hang on the back filter and the Aquatop Forza 2540 hang on the back filter on. And usually this tank is crystal clear with both of those filters. And I turned this tank into a breeding tank, as you can see, as the little baby Pseudotrophes ACI and yellow Labochromis hybrid fish. And I'm actually having the females actually holding eggs right now. And so I'll probably pull out the bigger fry that's in the tank now and put them into a separate tank. But this tank used to be heavily stocked with like 20 cichlids. And I added the Aquatop Forza 2540 hang on the back filter to replace 2 internal Tetra Whisper filters. And I wanted to see how that filter ran. And I noticed that its low 120 gallon per hour flow rate was a little low for that type of bioload. And it wasn't keeping up with sucking up all the detritus that was floating in the water, because it's only turning the tank over 3 times an hour, if that. So I added the Aqueon Quiet Flow because it was rated just slightly higher, and it helped get the turnover to about 6 to 7 times an hour instead of 3. Now, I don't recommend the Aquatop Forza 2540 hang on the back filter to run on a 40-gallon aquarium if it is heavily stocked or has fish that produce a lot of waste, like your tiny plecos, your cichlids, or a lot of smaller fish like neon tetras or guppies and stuff like that. I think the tank that filters the best is when you put it on a 30-gallon or less. Now, if you put it onto a 10-gallon aquarium, that will filter it 12 times an hour, but since it has that flow control, you can turn down that flow so you're not blowing your fish all over the place. So it's actually a really good filter to use on between 10 to 30-gallon aquariums, and you can run it by itself. But when it starts getting up to about 40-gallon aquariums, you can't. It really doesn't have the flow rate to actually be able to cycle that water efficiently, unless you buy another one to run on the same tank, because then you can have about 440 gallons per hour, which will turn this tank over quite a bit more. Now I'm going to show you one of the things I do like that comes with the Aquatop filter. Is it actually is this sponge right here. It comes with this fine sponge, and as you can see, it helps catch detritus and build up. So it helps actually clean up the water. But I also add the polyfill to it, so that way it takes out some of the bigger chunks. Now usually I would like to put the polyfill in the front of the tank, of the filter, but there's no basket on this one to do so. It also comes with a grid that also helps mechanical filter, and other than that, it does a really good job. Now when you get over to the Aqueon, I don't run the cartridges in any of my hang-on-the-back filters, because if you want to save money, one of the best ways is running sponges, because it can serve as mechanical filtration, and it also houses your beneficial bacteria. And if you need to clean it, you just take it out of the aquarium and you rinse it in aquarium water that you take out during the water changes. And then as soon as you get it cleaned up, you stick it back in the filter. And that's the only thing I use on this filter. Alright guys, so my final verdict on the Aquatop the Forza 2540 hang on the back filter is I do think it's worth the money. It's a cheaper filter. It doesn't cost as much as, let's say, your Aqueon or your smaller Aqua Clear, those type of hang on the back filters. But it does do a really good job and has never given me any issues. The only really complaints that I have, of course, is the lid, like I said, and the motor being mounted on the outside of the aquarium. Other than that, I have not found really much of a complaint. I do wish that they wouldn't recommend this filter for 40-gallon aquariums based on its kind of low flow rating, where it's better suited for between that 10 to 30-gallon aquariums. Now I wouldn't put on 40-gallon, but I definitely put on the 10 to 30-gallon aquariums. And if you're looking for a hang-on-the-back filter for those aquariums, the Aquatop Forza 2540 filter is actually a pretty good one. It has flow control, and a lot of their smaller hang-on-the-back filters, they don't offer that. So where you can get flow control and a relatively cheap hang-on-the-back filter is actually really nice. It has enough space for you to use whatever media you want to use. If you want to use carbon, media, such as like charcoal, lava rock, bio rings, bio balls, stuff like that. Or you could run what I'm running, use sponges and aquarium filter floss, and they'll really do a really good job. Now, you can pick these up online. You can pick them up at a pet store that offers Aquatop brand. And if you are looking for a small aquarium hang-on-the-back filter, it's a really good one to check out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully, if you were thinking about buying an Aquatop 2540 hang-on-the-back filter, this 3-month review will be enough to say, hey, do you want to buy it or do you not? And always make sure you get a filter that meets your needs. Don't under-filter a tank, but you don't have to go and throw 4 hang-on-the-back filters on your 10-gallon aquarium. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. And if you want more content like this, or update in the fish room, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you guys have an Aquatop 2540 hang-on-the-back filter, put it in the comments below and tell me what you think about it. And if there's anything that I missed in this review, let me know. As always, stay fishy, be safe, keep keeping fish, and I'll see you next time.